Hello and welcome back to the Touchline. It is a Monday, and as you know, every single Monday we have you covered when it comes to your local and international football news. If you are joining us for the first time, my name is Oarabile Diphoko, and I am your host of the Touchline. Tonight, I do have a couple of guests, some new faces, but hey, on Touchline, we're a family and we welcome them individually and we welcome them with love. Good evening to Mr. Emmanuel Shaine. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm good. And also, we have a special guest. Who the F is Kamo? But also, Kamo has his own podcast that I actually want him to tell us a little bit about for like 2 minutes or so. Kamo, how are you? And welcome to Touchline.
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for asking. And yeah, thank you for landing on my podcast, first and foremost.
Definitely.
You made an appearance not too long ago. Yeah, I'm the host of the Only Football Matters podcast. My name is Kamogelo Lucas Mutatswane, and yeah, you can find it like
We brought up middle names even.
Yeah,
I did. Home affairs.
yeah, why not? Yeah, you gotta remember the name, So, yeah, you guys can find my podcast everywhere, like on all streaming platforms where you can like get podcasts. The Only Football Matters podcast. Yeah, it's really awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's nice.
Agree. I've been there. I've heard it all. We are
For
all
sure.
football lovers, man. And let's get into that chat immediately because in the Premier League today, there's been some development, some new categories being added, and that is the Hall of Fame. The first inductees, top goal scorer is Alan Shearer. I'm not even sure that anybody can actually get there as much as Harry Kane looked like he was on his way to that achievement. And also another one that was also part of the Arsenal Invisible team, that is Thierry Henry. I'm pretty sure my guests today are very happy because they are both Arsenal fans. Kamo, how do you feel about this? And what do you think this does to, the football players right now, looking at and knowing that that's where they could end up?
Obviously I'm happy. I'm super happy. Like Thierry's basically the reason like I support Arsenal,
Yeah.
Like so this I feel like this just incentivizes like Premier League players like to stay in the Premier League and to like achieve like to be Hall of Fame status, like that just certifies your greatness in the league, you feel me? So yeah, man, I'm happy for it. I think it's really cool. Yeah, awesome. And Alan Shearer as well, like that's cool too. Like I don't think the league could have started off like with two better players, arguably the best of all time. I think he's the best. I think Thierry's the best of all time and the top goal scorer, like, yeah, man, I think it's awesome. Facts are facts.
Emmanuel? Yeah, Emmanuel, how do you feel about it? And also, do you see anybody actually breaking that record? I mean, he has 256 goals, if I'm not wrong. I stand to be corrected, but 256, that is a lot.
Well, first of all, I have a bit of a controversial view. The whole Alan Shearer thing. No, I'm being honest. The whole Alan Shearer thing. I mean, first of all, Thierry and Alan Shearer both deserve it. I mean, Alan Shearer is probably the best player we've seen at St. James Park since, what's the guy's name? Nunez from Goal, from the movie. But I mean, Thierry Henry is my favorite striker of all time. But I hate Thierry Henry. I must tell you guys that I hate Thierry Henry. The man.
Why? Please elaborate. Was it the Belgian switch?
Listen.
What?
No. This man got me to love Arsenal. I've spent thousands of rands buying Arsenal jerseys, and then this man left us. You understand the pain? Like, that man made Arsenal look like a Lamborghini, and then when he left, Arsenal became, no disrespect to the guys who drive Honda Civics, but Arsenal became a Honda Civic. That's literally what it did to me. I cannot forgive him for that. I love Thierry Henry to bits, but that's one thing I will not forgive him. I cannot forgive him for that.
Goki on Instagram is just like, listen, I don't know why you hate it because he went from Arsenal to Barcelona, and we all know how he feels about Barcelona.
That's why I hate him. Barcelona and Man United are the two teams I hate the most. So he left me to go to Barcelona, and since he left, I mean, we've only been good for FA Cup, but hey, and a Community Shield.
You know what? I don't want to Yeah?
But I mean, they are both very deserving. I think it was about time we did something like this because there are many players who are great for a league and some who don't necessarily win the Premier League, but then they've done so much for the league That they need to be rewarded in one way at least, and I think this is a very good way for it to start. Although I do see some players coming up, and the likes of John Terry, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, who I think should definitely follow up and become Hall of Fame inductees. Coachy, come on now.
Get on your case. Like, she's not going to let her go.
No. I'll get to her once you touched on we want to go to La Liga. Then she'll understand my winning passion. But I mean, you get guys, I think definitely Wayne Rooney is going to be up there. Wayne Rooney, I think for me, should be next. Wayne Rooney, Frank Lampard, and John Terry should be next before Steven Gerrard even. I mean, he hasn't won the Premier League, so why is he there?
Why not? Come on. Is there anybody else you want to add onto the list that he just added? Anybody else you think deserves to be there before we wrap up?
There's not really much I can say. He's right. Those players should be added. I do think Gerrard should be there. Now, I won't lie. I'm a Gerrard person. But yeah,
I mean, he said before. He didn't say he shouldn't be there. He just said
Wayne Rooney, Frank Lampard, and John Terry before him.
Oh, before him. Okay, good. My bad. Yeah, I feel like Busquets and Ronaldo. Obviously, he needs to be there. Like, of course. Yeah, Bergkamp.
Ronaldo.
The likes. Ronaldo. Of course, Ronaldo. Of course, Ronaldo.
Controversy.
Yeah, he's the only two people that have won Ballon d'Or in the Premier League, and he's one of them. So I feel like.
I mean, I understand that, but I mean, I don't know how I feel about Ronaldo being there just yet because he hasn't played that many games. He didn't play that many years in Man United as he did in Madrid. Most of his success came from Madrid, but we can't deny the success he had in Man United. There were just many guys who should be there before him. That's my opinion.
Okay,
that's for sure. But I think he should still get the black jersey. In my opinion, like that's just how I don't like United, but yeah, Ronaldo's definitely. I feel like he should be there.
I mean, I'm just surprised that none of you guys actually added Sergio Aguero in there, but. Hey, I guess he's still
removed Ryan Giggs. After the allegations, I removed Ryan Giggs from that list. If it wasn't for the allegations, he should be in there.
Yeah, we have to. If
it wasn't for the allegations, he should be in there.
Yes, that is so true. Moving on to the Premier League and what happened from Friday up until today. Obviously, we do have one more game later on tonight at 9 o'clock. Leicester will be hosting Crystal Palace. That game kicks off at 9 p.m. Please do make sure that you watch that one. But I don't want to inflict more pain onto you guys. But the first game of this weekend was Everton against Arsenal. Gamo, what happened?
Oh man, don't even get me started, man. Like I have no idea. Like I don't know what was. I love Arteta, but the starting 11 was very questionable. There was no recognized striker. Like I love Edin Ketia, and I think he's good, but he's not good enough to be starting. Like I feel like Martinelli should have started because we clearly we clearly lacked that goal threat. Like we literally, I think we had like 2 shots on target the whole first half and the whole game. Damn, you know what I mean? So that just speaks to like the lack of clinicality that was up front. So I think Martinelli should have started, and Xhaka at left back is it's very dangerous, man. Because for the goal, which Leno also he messed up, but
Xhaka was left behind.
Exactly, Richarlison just skipped past Xhaka like it was nothing, like he wasn't there at all. And then Leno just to compound the whole thing, man, it was just an awful game. Like we lost it in the most Arsenal way possible. Like I was just very disappointed. I was just very disappointed in our performance. Like for real, man, it was so bad.
Emmanuel, how did you find that? Is funny. The most Arsenal.
Listen, bro, that is probably one of the best statements I've heard in forever. The most Arsenal word.
I agree.
First of all, I don't know why it's a Leno own goal if the shot was on target, but I mean the rules need to be revisited there. Although, as much as we can say Leno's let that on in, come on, you're playing against Everton, who haven't exactly been in the best of shapes. We should have definitely had at least a goal or something in there. Before we can actually go and blame Leno, although that was questionable. We should have had a goal or a shot or something in the lineup. I don't understand I have this thing. I don't understand what Arteta's trying to do. He doesn't have a set formation so that guys establish themselves in the role. He keeps switching things up every single time. So you get players who they don't even know. I mean, Thursday afternoon they may tell you in the squad, you think you're in the squad again. The following week it changes. It's just too many changing things. And if we look at that back line, it was far too slow. Pablo Mari, Callum Chambers, Rob Holding. Xhaka, it's just too slow when you have a guy like Cedric on the bench, who also gives a lot of creativity going up. You had
And
Hector
he's
Bellerin on
pacey.
the bench, who
Yeah.
give you creativity going up. They're quite fast. Those are guys who I would have wanted to see on the court. But I mean, I do trust Arteta still, I'm not going to hold it against a manager now if you have players who aren't playing their best football, So it's just a shame, but yeah.
Yeah. Gama, what is the best possible outcome for Arsenal this season? If you guys don't get, European football and you win Europa, will you be okay with that? Or
hey, I don't. Hey,
Maybe silverware.
We could finish just above the relegation zone, and if we win Europa, like I'll be happy. Like honestly, like I just want to see us playing. I just want to hear that Champions League anthem again. Like I think I took it for granted. Like I think I took it for granted as like getting in. Like all I want is for us to win Europa, and I think maybe that was his thinking when he was choosing the starting 11. Like maybe he was prioritizing like some players for Thursday. Yeah,
but it's
that's
a
like
long week. I mean, I thought they had enough time for him to prepare for such a game because,
you
playing
on Saturday,
first.
you play again on Thursday. It's enough time.
You know what I mean? I think that he had enough time. Like, it's exactly what Gamo said. From the start, starting 11 was questionable. And unfortunately, it took I want to say one man, but, the ball has to pass through the first striker all the way to the defense for it to be a goal. I want to say it's Leno, but overall, looking at the team, do you guys, Emmanuel, do you think Arsenal actually deserve to win or even get anything from their game, regardless?
No. In terms of merit, we don't deserve it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we should have at least created enough opportunities. Football is fair. That's the most important thing. I mean, Martinelli, like Amo said, should have started. Martinelli should have started. Like, come on. Clear cut, striker, can finish, quick. He's been the future of Arsenal. I'm not a fan of Eddie Nketiah, We should have let him go and let Joe Willock go, That's just me. Eddie Nketiah reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember Yaya Sanogo. That's who Eddie Nketiah is. Yaya Sanogo. Same. The guy who hasn't scored a goal, but those guys, exactly the same. So we're never going to reach our status if we have mediocre players, I mean, we can't go back. Like even what Arsene Wenger had, even the worst of squads Arsene Wenger had, he still had some sort of quality in like Mesut Ozil, in like Francesc Fabregas, he still had some quality even in the dying days, which is what we don't have at the moment, if we do have, they're not fit enough, they're not consistent enough. That's what I think we should have. And that starting lineup, the only defender who I really like in that starting lineup, funny enough, is Rob Holding. I love Rob Holding, but other than him, everybody else should not be there in that back line. We should change it all up,
Wow.
And the midfield. That's if that needs to happen. That needs to happen. Take Dani Ceballos off, put Granit Xhaka in there because it gives you some sort of creativity. With he can hold as
well as create. Yes, he really is that multidimensional.
Well. And both also push. Thomas Partey can give you the short balls. Thomas Partey can give the short balls up front, and Xhaka can give you the long balls. That's who I think should be sitting in there. Ceballos, as good as he is, as much as he was promising, I think he needs to start. We need to revisit Ceballos because Martin Odegaard could stay. And ultimately that's what you want. But that's quite okay.
I mean, look at it this way, man. We are at the end of April. Next month, everything changes again. 1st of June, we have all those transfers. So we'll be holding fingers for you. Hopefully you guys get the right players because right now you're busy firing your whole squad.
Yeah, we should get rid of the whole squad. Look, this for me, we should get rid of the whole squad. And then rebuild again from there. But again, how do we attract good players if we can't even play Tuesday and Wednesday night?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's exactly what Gam was saying. They all want to hear that song, that Champions League song, which is, of course, my ringtone. I'm not in America or anything, but,
If we can finish 17th in this Premier League, but win Europa, I'm so happy. I would be the happiest man, honestly.
Do you still keep Arteta, Gamo, though? If that were to happen, do you still keep him? Is he the right man to take you guys forward?
Of course. I mean, like Emmanuel said, like it like right now, I feel like everything is unraveling the way it is because of the quality of players we have, And if we're playing Champions League football, we can attract better players. We have more money to attract better players. And yeah, man, we can play better football. You know, like for as much as we can, like Arteta is questionable. Like he learned from the best. You know, so he has some type of like he's competent as far as like coaching is concerned. You know.
When you say the best, who are you referring to?
Shahina wants to say something.
I don't want to hear Pep Guardiola.
You talk about
No, he's not the best. He's not the best.
Who is the best?
He's not the best. The best you all know is Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm not a Man United fan, but I can't dispute the fact. And then after him is that bald-headed guy sitting in Madrid. That's all I'm saying.
With that chat,
Pep waxed Sir Alex twice in two Champions League finals.
Well, you cannot deny the longevity Sir Alex Ferguson had, the way it impacted English football. I read Another Way of Winning, which is a book by Pep Guardiola. In that book, he attributes a lot of his success to the teachings of Sir Alex Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta realize, you gotta recognize, bro. Give respect.
I mean, I read that book. I know what you're talking about. And also on that note, let's move on to the other teams, rather, in the top four, fighting it out, rather. Speaking of Manchester City, congratulations to them for their fourth consecutive Carabao win, beating Tottenham Hotspurs 1-0, literally in the dying seconds. I mean, we all saw Son's tears. Unfortunately, Spurs did what we know them to do. So I don't know what he was crying about, because I was like, maybe he was crying. He's like, yo, now I really have to find a new team. I think maybe that was.
I mean, you can always come to Arsenal because we might be guaranteed Tuesday and Wednesday night football. I'm the same.
Yeah. I mean,
but also,
I could say that too. I agree. I mean, he really was crying it out like he knew something we didn't. But like I said, the 1st of June, we are bound to find out a lot more, because I'm not sure that Spurs can actually keep Harry Kane after the season. I mean, if I was him, I'd want to go.
Yeah, you can't stay after a result like that.
So my question is always, if you're a guy like Harry Kane, you're leaving to go somewhere where you can win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where can you go where you can win? Where can you go where you are guaranteed a championship?
Manchester City.
But still, remember, where you're guaranteed a championship with the same minutes and influence you have in Tottenham.
But listen, even if he wins the FA Cup with Manchester City, he would be great. He hasn't won anything. But sometimes we need to also understand and see where we're coming from. Our reach must be here.
So I like Pep. I think he's a fantastic manager. He's very tactical, right? And he moves pieces like you won't believe. Harry Kane will end up going to City to play centre mid. I don't know how Pep does it. It's going to work for City.
I'm not going to lie. I would agree with that. Or even as a 10, as he's been at Spurs lately. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
it's going to work for City, but I don't know how that's going to work for him. You know what I mean? As a player, you know. So I think his best bet might actually be United, if we're being honest about it. Not necessarily that United are going to win, but if they continue this way, because Cavani is not going to stay. They don't have a solid striker. You know,
they don't have a solid
Cavani is
number
not
9.
always that guy. And you have, what's the French guy's name? Martial, who's always up and down. So Harry Kane coming in that position. Irrelevant. The only French striker now we acknowledge is Big Body Benz. But that's, for another chat later.
That's for like another 10 minutes from now we get into that chat.
Got you.
Is there any other team you can see Harry Kane going into?
Yeah, like I don't think he should even limit himself to England. I think the best team for him, like, I know this is gonna be weird, but I think Real Madrid would be like a really good shout.
That is weird.
Yeah, like
that's not going to be weird. That's weird.
No.
That's just full stop. There's no comma. There's no ellipses. No semicolon. Weird. Full stop.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
No.
Yeah, we need great players though.
No.
Guys, why are we putting respect on Harry Kane's name? He's good enough for Madrid.
See what the number 9 in Madrid is doing?
Thank you.
Yeah, but they can coexist. Good players can play together. They can coexist.
We've got other players who are coming back, like Eden Hazard, Vinicius. No, look, but actually, we'll get to the Premier League, to the Liga later. We don't want it.
Listen, wow, I cannot believe you said that. But moving on with the top 4, this weekend we also had West Ham, who took on Chelsea. Chelsea in that much needed victory, also giving themselves a little bit of space a 3-point gap between them and fifth. And then also other results. So Leeds drawing with Manchester United. I think Leeds would be very happy because that first time that they played, it was not great. It was not good for them. So I think the draw will be more than sufficient enough for those teams. And also looking at how the top three have basically dropped points, Leicester have another opportunity today to also just push up when they play against Crystal Palace. But also still talking about the Premier League, I'd like to say congratulations to Norwich, who have now been promoted, as well as Watford, who also got promoted just yesterday. After the first time of trying, they are both back.
Yeah, well done to them, man.
Troy Dean is coming back into the league.
He's back, man. They are back with vengeance. Also, this week we also have some Champions League fixtures coming up. And just to talk about the Champions League, there's been chats about this since the Super League chat also came up. We know that in Super League, there's only technically 3 teams left. That is Juventus, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. I don't know what the situation is right now for them because, the Premier League teams are like, we don't want to be hated. They're burning our stadiums. It's fine. We'll fold, only because it's not racism. But hey, you know what? We'll live on and march and still fight another day. But looking at the Champions League and the new... Looking at the new, format, what do you guys think about it? I mean, that means it's more games for everyone, with the new format being that 36 teams are now joining Champions League. Kamo, how do you see this one panning out?
I actually have a problem with a very big problem with it because everybody's just kind of glossing over the fact that they added so many more games to the competition already. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's a very like you're playing so many games when the initial problem at first was that you wanna they're playing more games essentially so they can generate more money. You know what I mean?
Money.
And
yes.
Yeah, and then there was the whole issue of being in the UEFA of the other teams being in the Super League. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of speaks to the hypocrisy of the whole thing. But hey man, like if it means Arsenal can get in the Champions League, then hey man, let's get it.
Let's go.
But if I'm being now you can go.
No, we can go.
Honestly, come on, say it out, say it all out.
Oh, okay.
Say it with your chest. With your chest.
Now, if I'm being completely unbiased, like I really think it's unfair on the players, on the players especially because yeah, man, we want to see high level competition. We want to see high level competition and want to see them be at their physical best. If you're playing every other day, like how can you perform at your optimum? You know what I mean? Like it's really like there's a lot of moving parts that I don't like with this new thing. But hey man, like I said, hey, if Arsenal's playing, hey, I'm all for it, you know what I mean?
You're good, huh? Shayna, do you agree? Or do you also think that it might be a positive thing? I don't know.
So I have an issue with it, because the reason why everyone's heading on the Super League is because ultimately the Super League is trying to generate more money for clubs and make it more interesting for fans. But because the Super League challenged UEFA, all of a sudden UEFA is looking to revisit their model. I have an issue with it because I remember a couple of years back when Madrid was on fire with Ronaldo and everyone, they used to play teams like Ludogorets. I had never heard of Ludogorets before that day. You know what I'm saying? So all that used to happen is Ronaldo and the top players, where they could have rested that week, they played just to stack up some stats. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you're bringing Ronaldo to a stadium where he's got only 15,000 people watching him. So same as a high school rugby game here in South Africa. So you might as well have him rest that game to play a bigger game when there's like 50,000, 60,000 fans. And the competition of Champions League is also so lopsided that we get surprised when we see Portuguese champions like Porto making it as far as they did. We get surprised all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which shouldn't exactly be the case. So, and Porto could have more better players, obviously, if they had more money. And now Champions League, seeing that as a threat, has tried to adjust their model. All right. But then I thought that was the whole point of Europa, where not the top teams making it and the other ones making it. You know what I mean? So there's still some money being generated for every team. There's still something to look forward to other than the domestic league. But also Champions League, I can't picture Champions League without Messi, without Ronaldo. That's where we stand right now. Imagine Barcelona, Madrid; those are the two biggest clubs in the world, and they're not there. What happens?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna set up to watch. I don't know, Valencia playing against Leicester City. There's no way I'm watching Valencia play Leicester City. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd rather set up and watch Madrid play Juventus or something, exciting games.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we're ultimately lacking, especially if we look at guys like, every soccer player's dream when you reach the top of your game is to join either Barcelona or Real Madrid.
Or Real Madrid.
What's happening to football now if you take those teams away? You know what I'm saying? And then you make guys like Arsenal who weren't exactly worthy of playing in Champions League because you haven't earned it yet. Now all of a sudden they're founding fathers of Super League and they get to play in the more competitive league. It takes away the fight for merit to want to earn it, especially if you know until it's going to come to you. And that's my biggest issue.
Yeah, I think for me, what I also look at is the fact that, we're talking about Barcelona, we're talking about Real Madrid. These are teams with a huge amount of money. What about the teams that don't have the funds to actually have a team that will sustain the whole season with regards to that? When you mentioned Leicester, I look at how Leicester crumble in the Premier League because half the squad was injured. And those are the first team players. And now looking at that, having to play Champions League also is going to be a huge problem for teams such as Leicester with the new format. Just so we can touch on some of the new formalities of the format, we are now moving to 36 teams from 32. There are 10 games in the group stages instead of the 6, as well as also 225 games being played instead of the 125. So many changes are being made right now. And with regards to the Super League, Lord knows what's going to happen with that one. But looking at the fixtures for this week, we look at Real Madrid, who host Chelsea tomorrow night, and then we also have a PSG and Manchester City on Wednesday. Quick predictions, Gamo. Real Madrid, Chelsea, who's going to take it tomorrow?
Real Madrid. That's just
All
how
right.
I see it.
They can, and then on Wednesday, PSG, Manchester City.
Oh yeah, PSG for sure.
For sure. Oh, okay. Confident. Emmanuel, you look like you want to say something else. Real Madrid, Chelsea.
I don't know why anybody would ever ask me that question. I don't care if Madrid is playing with guys on wheelchairs. I will always choose my money. I know you conflicted, Bile, because
I really am. You have no idea. Like tomorrow, I'm not even sure I want to watch. Like I'm so conflicted.
But come on, man, you're gonna win because it's both your teams. No, for me, Madrid without a doubt.
Not really. It's sad on both sides. It really is sad on both sides. No lie.
I'm happy that it's Madrid because you look at some guys who've come. They beat Liverpool with half a squad, and now you have guys like Varane who's back, Hazard who's back, and Carvajal who's back. Such really important key players are back. So I don't see Madrid losing to Chelsea. Although Chelsea has an element of surprise, which I also feel like it should be an interesting game.
Gamo, you were saying?
Is Ramos back?
Unfortunately, no, he's not available.
He'll probably play the second leg.
Probably, yeah. I don't think he's playing tomorrow, no.
Hey, then I don't know. Hey, Chelsea might have a chance.
Hey, Chana, listen.
Bro, did you see Madrid against Liverpool?
The Liverpool game, and with a backline that isn't even a backline. So I know, it was
went
real.
from playing right wing forward to right back with a swollen foot. Oh man, there's something happening in Madrid you don't know about. There's some vibranium stuff going on in there.
There's always been that magic in Madrid. Emmanuel, PSG, Manchester City. Did you have to do PSG,
I will only say PSG because they have the home ground advantage. Other than that, you can't write out Man City. And I don't know if De Bruyne is fit to play because that's a big loss.
No, he's not playing. He's not playing. Yeah.
That's big because Kylian Mbappe right now is.
Hey, child, he will be playing skipping rope with someone. We're not John Stones.
Yo, I'm telling you, I have a feeling Pep might play Kyle Walker centre back. Because of that speed. Because you got to have someone who can at least challenge Mbappe somehow.
I mean, challenge him and also get a penalty in the process. I mean, we all know Kyle Walker's capabilities sometimes, okay?
I hear you, but I just think Man City is losing this one simply because it's in Paris. But second leg is a different story. I can't comment on that just yet, It's a different
all right. Story. You heard the gentleman here on the Touchline SA. You heard what they had to say. Tomorrow is Real Madrid versus Chelsea, and then on Wednesday we have PSG and Manchester.
I got a question.
Yes.
Management, why would you put Timo Werner, the guy is struggling to score? Pulisic and Mason Mount are arguably the best players in Chelsea right now. I question
Timo Werner just scored. I got him he won for us this weekend. Kind of getting what's with the head?
No, but if we're being honest, it's questionable. Timo Werner is not the best player in Chelsea. Neither is Riyad Mahrez. I would have put him.
We're not saying that. I can just think based on the previous games, the recent games, they were shining. Do you want to be the only shine in life?
No. I'm putting a petition to management next time to take away Timo Werner, put in your Mason Mount or your Pulisic. That's all I'm saying. Even Ben Chilwell, for that matter.
You remind me of those people that just see a tent in someone's yard and walk in and say, "Nah, get your cabbage." Because that's exactly what you're saying. Like you came to my show, came into my house, and came and told me that on your diet you don't like it. But that's okay. You're always welcome.
Management. I should be addressing this to Bile instead. I think as a Chelsea fan, you're the one that chose Timo Werner. You shouldn't be there.
But don't worry, we'll jot that down and we'll correct it. But now I want to wrap up the show with one of the biggest talking points right now. We also know that La Liga is heating up quite rapidly because this weekend Atletico lost, Real Madrid drew, as well as Barcelona also winning. But do you remember that Barcelona have a game in hand which they play on Thursday against Granada? They win that one, they jump straight to the top of the league. It's crazy because in December we're looking at Barcelona and they were there at 14. Now they're challenging for the title. How do you see this one panning out? Who do you see taking that title in the end?
Wait, before we start with anything, I think we shouldn't sleep on Sevilla because they're fourth. For as much as they're fourth, they also have 70 points. They're only 3 points behind Atletico, right? So they're also in the mix, I think. And I think they're also doing a good job. But the way it's looking right now, I think because a game in hand doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win it, right?
It's points.
Granada's Granada, but I think Real Madrid have the advantage, man. Like they know how they're reigning champs. They've been doing it, and for as much as Messi is being Messi and he's being the best player in the world right now, I think Real Madrid are gonna take the league, man. I think they're gonna take.
Emmanuel is not having it. He's not having it.
I'm a die-hard Ronaldo fan, but the best player in the league right now is Kylian Mbappe. In the world is Kylian Mbappe. I can't even dispute.
No way.
Kylian Mbappe. But back to La Liga. I think Barcelona picking at the right time. Although we cannot forget the hurdle they have. They still have to play Atletico Madrid.
Madrid, yes. They still have Atletico in the mix, yes.
If we have a situation where all three teams are tied at the end of the season, Madrid is lifting the trophy because of head-to-head.
Yeah.
La Liga don't work with no goal difference. It's not head-to-head, and Madrid has won all the head-to-heads. And I think that's going to be the game that ultimately decides the fate of the season. Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona. That's
Barcelona.
Because I don't see Diego Simeone going down easily. I also don't see Lionel Messi going down easily.
Easily, yeah.
The park is pretty much set for Madrid. They overcame the biggest obstacles with a squad less than what they would have wanted to have or whatever. But I still think the issue with Barcelona is not Messi. I'm not a Messi fan, but I can admit when a player is great.
Yes.
The biggest issue is not Messi. The biggest issue are the people around Messi, specifically the back line. And I'm surprised to see Antoine Griezmann scoring goals right now because we've seen him bottle opportunities that are handed to him on a silver platter, And those opportunities, Vinicius would punish. Karim Benzema is going to punish. And Eden Hazard is back now. As much as he hasn't been what he was in Chelsea, that is quality. That is a guy who can finish when He's played at
When
the
he needs
highest
to.
level, you know.
Yeah.
So that's for me is the biggest criticism. And I feel with Atletico Madrid, as much as they're fighters, they can only fight until 34 games. From 35 to 38, they don't have it, you know. I think
you
is
do
what,
realize that 34 is the next game they're playing.
that's what I mean, you know. So that's what I'm saying. That's the point where Madrid and Barcelona show their dominance as world favorites and take it a step further. But I think for that specific game, Barcelona Atletico Madrid, I think it's at the Wanda, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is at the Wanda.
That's big because that's home for Atletico. If Atletico can win that game, it sets Barcelona back. And I know Atletico is going to drop some points somewhere, and then eventually Madrid is going to take over. And once Madrid has that momentum again, because Barca needs to stumble again. Once Madrid has that momentum, you're not catching Madrid. You know, and the players are coming back right now. Everyone's coming back fit. Ramos is going to be there. My captain, my leader, the best keeper in the world, Thibaut Courtois, is going to be there.
Child, he is flourishing these days. Hey,
you know what I mean?
Wow.
Thibaut Courtois is the best keeper in the world. I'm not like he's the reason Madrid is not losing games right now. It's not because the back line. It's Thibaut Courtois. You know what I mean?
He was actually the biggest reason why they even won La Liga last season because that's when he started peaking. He was beautiful last season. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, moving forward now, like I said, the issue with Barcelona is not Messi. And I know people will be happy to hear me say this because I'm not a Messi fan, but it's not Messi. The issue with Barcelona, the back line. Number one, not even the keeper, the back line. The midfield is also a bit somewhat disconnected. And everyone playing with Messi up front. Not Messi, not Ter Stegen. Those two players cannot be faulted for anything.
On the wings.
The other 9 players. You see, Cookie's even saying she's happy to hear this. And then with Madrid,
she's been ongoing, hey? I love her spirit.
And with Madrid doesn't have an issue right now. It was injuries. They had the most injuries.
54 injuries that Zidane has had to deal with this season.
On top of COVID. So, I mean, moving forward right now, I think Madrid is going to stun everybody. You know, they're gaining form again. Marcelo's playing, even though he's a bit out of position.
Even Isco's playing again.
You see, we've lost a very valuable player in Lucas Vázquez. As much as people don't like him, he is a very important player for Madrid. Listen, Lucas Vázquez is the unsung hero of Real Madrid. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Comment on that because, hey, your face is saying a lot.
He's the unsung hero of Madrid. I want to hear this. I'm ready to fight
crazy.
This.
That's crazy. Lucas Vázquez.
He's the unsung hero of Madrid.
He's one of the hardest working men I've ever come across at Real Madrid. That is so true.
Okay. I mean, you guys are Madrid fans, so I think
right back, wherever you put Lucas Vázquez, he's bound to produce. You know, you saw
he's
against
like
Barcelona, the assist. Exactly. Those two unsung heroes of Madrid. Those two are the unsung heroes of Madrid. You know, and that's what I'm telling you now. Madrid is definitely going to win because they're getting all their pieces back. And
you
Barca
heard it here on
crumble.
Touchline Este, man.
I'm telling you, Barca is going to crumble because of all the other 9 players, excluding Ter Stegen and Lionel Messi. That's my say.
That's your chat. Come on, just to wrap up this La Liga chat with final thoughts.
I mean, apart from the Vinicius and the Vasquez thing, like I agree with everything.
Vinicius thought you were ready.
I mean, Vinicius literally has like 5 goals every season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesnn't make sense. But yeah, I agree with everything else that
5 big goals, bro. 5 big goals.
Yeah, man. I think just because Barcelona rely on Messi so much and their defense is so poor, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be their undoing, I feel like. And Atleti are just so, man, they had such a big lead over everybody else and they just let it go, you know what I mean? So
10 points. I don't think
they have that BMP, man. I don't think they have BMP, man. Yeah, not at all.
Speaking of another team that tends to also, bottle their 10-point leads, I'm gonna bring it back to South Africa, bring it back local quickly, just so we can touch on the DStv Premiership. Kaizer Chiefs fans are bowling right now. I've seen yellow everywhere I've seen that golden shirt. I've seen, you name it, I have seen it. Kaizer Chiefs beating Mamelodi Sundowns, the first defeat in the DStv Premiership. Thank you, Kaizer Chiefs. You did it for us. I'm a Buccaneer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But I think a lot of people are buzzing, man. Nobody saw that result. Nobody saw it coming. But also, the DStv Premiership is heating up. We're getting towards the end of the season. We have so many things coming up with regards to that. And also looking at the DStv Premiership, obviously the players from there will have to be in the Bafana Bafana squad, who still right now do not have a coach because they had to postpone their announcement because of COVID regulations. Just a quick thought, Gamo, why do you think that is? Do you think we're getting an international coach?
Oh, it has to be. It has to be, right? Like, what else? What else? Like, what else are you talking about COVID for? You know what I mean? Because otherwise they could have just had the press conference wherever it was supposed to be held in the country, and it wouldn't have been that big of an issue. So yeah, man, I'm thinking it's an international coach for sure, man.
All right, Emmanuel, how do you see this one panning out? Earlier on, I heard you mention Jose Mourinho is coming over to Alex. So do you still agree? Do you think he'll be here in that Sun City 39-degree weather?
First of all, back to the Kaizer Chiefs and Sundowns. There's one thing we cannot underestimate. A big team is a big team. No matter how bad the season may be going for them, they know how to play against big teams. And that's the Kaizer Chiefs and their identity. I'm not a fan, but you got to give it to them. Look, man, if somehow Natim Teto can find money in the Department of Sports and Reg to fund Jose Mourinho,
to bring him
it's going to
over.
be great to see. Look, I'm going to be driving to Lucas Maripa to see Mourinho coach. You know what I mean?
Imagine. With that. Even the actual people will be there on their fences watching.
I want to see him tell the fans to shut the vuvuzelas. I want to see him doing it. He's going to say, I don't want any of this. But, it's going to be great to see. It's definitely an international coach, I'm not so sure it's Mourinho, though. I mean, he's just way too much money.
Yeah.
Too much money, too much status. And there are other clubs in Europe right now, other countries who are looking for a head coach. And if anything, I saw an article about the Colombian coach or Uruguayan coach. I'm not so sure. The Colombian coach. If we can get someone with some sort of experience, it's going to be great. But also, we mustn't have high expectations. Just because somebody thrived in Europe and South America, they're not necessarily going to thrive here. The culture here is different. The football is different. You're not exposed to the same work ethic you have or the same quality of players. It's more especially the same commitment. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years back, before Safa camp, the Bafana Bafana camp, Tumelo Masilela, who was on, not Tumelo Masilela, the left back, Masilela, yes, who was on national team duty.
Tepo
Masilela, yes. He took leave and went to shop in Europe. Mid-national team camp.
And he was such an idiot. He started posting it. And we're like, dog, you said you were sick. I remember.
So, things like that are things other coaches don't necessarily deal with in Europe or South America. And those are things you have to know, are happening, are variables here in South Africa, in football, in Africa for that matter. And just the playing conditions are not always the same. And I mean, your big players don't always come back for international duty because the club is holding them back. You have all these issues happening. So it's going to be hard for any coach to come. Although my guess would be the best coach for South Africa, for South African football, is always going to be the GOAT, Peter Mosiman. But we can't have him back just yet. So,
wait, can I say something
to achieve in Africa? Yes, come on.
Can I say something about that? Just yet. Like, can I? So for I don't know who's gonna come through, and he might be an international coach, and I've been seeing like rumors about Carlos Queiroz coming through. Like whoever he is, like, I don't think it's gonna be like that clear cut. Like you said, like I don't think it's gonna be that clear cut. Like as far as us winning is concerned, because I think our problem is much bigger than the football. You know what I mean? I think it's the structures because Pito has been coach of Bafana before, and he did fail like to lead us to an AFCON. So I think that yeah, man, we need to sort out the technical level, the administrative level of like our football before we can like
Football.
even think
Yeah.
of qualifying
players.
for like qualifying for the World Cup and AFCON. Yo man, it's so like the conveyor belt even for the under 17s and the under 23s to get to the first team. Like how many under 17s and under 23s like do you see in the first team?
Playing.
Yeah, like it's very sad, man. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, bro, like, yeah, man, we need to see the play. Like these under 17s, they go to the World Cup, their World Cup, you know, like we need to see like that progression and see them evolve like into like proper players, international players.
Yeah.
You know what I think actually? So I don't know if you guys are aware of what the United States team did. 20 years ago, they said they want to have a team to compete. So they started funneling a lot of cash into the MLS and all their players in development level. All those guys who were, say, half American and half Spanish, instead of having them to play in Spain, they prefer playing for United States. You know, they started doing all of that. And now you start to see guys like Weston McKennie, Serginho Dest, and, you know, all these guys winning titles now. And they're winning it at a very young age. What that tells you is United States in a few years will be competing at a higher level in the men's football as well. If we adopt that system in South Africa,
that's true.
We must understand that the coach coming in, you can't expect him to come in now, qualify us for World Cup 2026. It's not going to happen. You know, we must have a thing where in 2026 we somewhat competing in AFCON. You know, at least not winning, knockout stages at least. And then the years that follow, it should be like a 10, 15-year plan where we can now say we're going to the World Cup to properly compete.
To win.
You know?
Yeah, to win.
And like you said, Kamohelo, that we have to bridge that gap between under 17, under 23, and professional and first team. That's literally what we need.
Yeah, that is very true. And that is how we're going to be wrapping up Touchline tonight, but also looking at some of the highlights or newsworthy things. Eric Bailly has just signed a new contract with Manchester United up until 2024. I don't know how that one's going to pan out because half the time he has not played. But hey, we can wish him all the best in that regard. But
also,
up until we meet again,
David Alaba to Madrid. I don't know how true that is. Apparently, it's confirmed that he's joining them in the summer.
Yeah. I think obviously Bayern are sort of holding out to let us know with regards to that, because they also actually, thank you for bringing that up, also dealing with the whole new manager thing, because right now Leipzig is holding on to their manager. They're like, we want a record fee for him, and he's already agreed personal terms with Bayern, so we don't know how next season's gonna pan out. But I do look forward to all the conversations and all the chats that are to come our way during the transfer season. But who the F is Kamohelo? Thank you so much for joining us here on Touchline.
Thank you so much.
If you want to catch him on the socials, man, I just said his full name, but apparently he also has Lucas and Winky and Henry, and but that's okay. Let's keep it simple. It is at who the fuck is Kamohelo, as well as at Emmanuel_Shaine, who's also the host of a Fast Break that is all to do with your basketball. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here tonight on Touchline SA.
Pleasure for having me, actually.